Hi, my name is Ed Bryan with Crystal Reporting Solutions. I'm going to take a few minutes and show you some tips on how to manage page breaks. I work with a lot of municipalities and school districts around the country, and one of the things that we do is a lot of finance reports and budget reports. And you want to know where your page breaks are going to happen, where you're going to show totals and subtotals and grand totals. And it can be tricky, but we can manage it through the tools that we have in Crystal Reports. I'm going to be using Crystal Reports XI today. I know a lot of you are already on 2008. Looks a little bit different, but the functionality is pretty much the same. So let's just jump right into it. This is a budget report that is showing information based on groups that go by the account, a group called personnel and other, and then department, and then those departments grouped up, and then we're going to be showing by fund. So all we're showing in this report are we're going to be showing at the object level, so that's all the way down at the bottom, and this is what your report looks like when there are no page breaks. Okay? Going to go back to page 1 here, and you see we start with our administrative services for Fund 0010, and we have totals and accounts for the town manager, and it runs right into human resources. And then on the next page, we get the town clerk, and then we get finance. And you can pretty much see from right there that one of the problems that we have is that everything kind of bleeds into one another, and there isn't as much of a defined break between those groups. So what we're going to do is we're going to manage the breaks. One of the first things that I'm going to show you is at the very end of the report, how do you get a page break so that you've got your grand totals showing on the final page of the report, which is sometimes what people want to have. Okay? So I go to the end of the report here, and you can see that the report footer, grand total, is here on page 34. Okay? So if we, in our section expert, come to our report footer, and we say new page before, you'll see that we now have 35 pages, and on page 34 you no longer have that, and you jump to the next page, and here at the top is the grand total. Now that's often not what people want to do. So I'm going to hit my undo button and get back to this page. All right? So what we're going to do is break on the fund, and I'm going to show you how to do that in such a way that we keep our grand total without spilling it over onto the last page. And this is a tool that I use in a lot of my reports, is I can click this new page after button in my section expert, and when that happens, we go all the way to the end, and there's our grand total on the final page, and all of the funds are breaking. So what do you want to do there? You want to say we want to break on the fund and use the formula editor to create a simple command called not on last record. So what that's saying is that when you get to the final record of the report, you don't want to break on the fund. So not on last record. Hit save and close, and OK, and you'll say that the grand total is still here. So group footer 1, break, but not on the last record. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to break on group 2, which is the group that has our information like administrative services and finance and community resources. Okay? So where we go with that is at the group header 2, we're going to use the new page before. You can use new page before, you can use new page after. When you've got multiple groups and you are trying to do page breaks on them, it's often helpful to use the new page before for the group that's the higher level than the lower one. So we're simply going to say we're going to break on group 2, but not on the first record. So similar to your not on last record for the fund group, we're going to break on group 2 for not on the first record. And you'll see that what happens when we go to page 2 is that our administrative services has a total here, and we go over to the next page, and we've got finance starting on the next page. Which brings up a topic that I also want to mention to you. When you get these page breaks, how do you know which group you're looking at? We use the group header, and we use one of the options, in this case for group 2, on the options page, repeat group header on each page. So I click OK there. And now we can see on our administrative services that when we go to page 2, it still shows here. We go forward to finance. It shows on page 1 of finance. It also shows on page 2 of finance, right? So that's the new page before, but not on first record. So what we really want to do here, in the case of these folks, is they want to have each one of their departments on one page. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, and why we're even bothering to do a video with this. In the section expert, for group footer 3, which is the department, we're going to click on New Page After, and we're going to use a formula. And I'm going to uncomment this. And we're going to say that we want to break on the group footer for the department, but not when we're on the last record, because that's going to throw an extra page at the end. And we also need to do something like this. We say where the next group equals the group that we're on, we're not going to do a page break. So let me show you what it looks like without doing that, okay? So here we have our page break on town manager. And here we have our page break on human resources. And here we have our page break on total town clerk. And here are our totals for the town administrative services. We don't want to do that. What we want is we want to keep that total administrative services back on the end of the administrative section below total town clerk. So we're going to come back to our section expert, go into group department, group 3, and we're going to add this piece which says we want to do the page break when we're not on the last record and when the next group that we're coming up to equals the group that we're currently on. And when we use that syntax, you'll see that we now have a total for total administrative services right here. We go over to the next page, we've got our finance. We go through all of our finance departments, and when we get to the end of it, we've got our total finance. So you can see this is a good way of getting all of these to work together. We're primarily using our section expert. Okay, for the fund, we're doing a new page after when we're not on the last record. We're doing a page break after before the department groups when we are not on the first record. And we're doing a page break after each group department when we're not on the last record, and we're managing whether or not we've got a group 2 that's split, okay? So when all of that works, you've got a report that now gives you everything you want. Let me just show you really quickly what it looks like at the end of each fund. So here's our group fund totals after our group 2 totals, after our department totals. Okay, we go straight from the general fund to the sewer enterprise fund, go through a few pages there. Then we get to our water enterprise fund, and here are the totals for our sewer fund, all right? So that's about it. You can get your page breaks to work, play with it within the section expert, use your new page before, new page after. Remember about not on the first record, not on the last record. And if you play with it long enough, you'll figure it out. But if you have any questions, you can always contact me at crystalreportingsolutions.com. Thanks for watching.